Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We went to movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey,
Hey, shut up! You guys stink. I thought we came here to play hockey.
You know, I knew we forgot something.
But you think it's funny? You think losing is funny?
Well, not at first, but once you get the hang of it. We're the ones out there getting our butts kicked. Yeah, it's not like you coach us or anything. Yeah. At least we tried.
You didn't listen to a word I said. I said keep your heads up, you put your heads down. I said hustle, you went slower. That was the sloppiest playing I've ever seen. Why the hell don't you just listen to me?
Why the hell should we?
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two Sweetie sisters talk about movies that shaped their childhood. I'm Sweetie.
And I'm Sweetie.
Today is December 5th. Wow. So coming into the holiday season, we're not like too jazzed about holiday films, so we're gonna do some other ones.
Sure. Holiday adjacent.
Yeah.
This one is cold and contains hockey. So I say it's a win.
So it's a winter sports film. It is
The Mighty Ducks. Quack.
Quack.
Quack. Quack. Quack. It's not an Affleck quack. It's
Quack.
it's a cooler like quack, 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 quack. It's a chant.
You know when you say things too many times and it like doesn't sound right?
Yes.
That's exactly what was happening
Yes.
there. I was like, what is she saying?
I spent a whole class once saying canoe in my head in high school, and I was like, what?
it's a horrible conundrum. Conundrum. That's a weird word. Anyway, yeah, guys, Mighty Ducks. I'm not super familiar with this film. I feel like a traitor to my generation, as I said on Instagram. I guess I have seen it. I pledged on Instagram. I didn't, so I guess I'm a big fat liar. Because Sweetie reminded me that we did. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I put it on there twice. Oops.
What?
And I guess that I had
what
never
on
seen
there
it.
twice?
I had never seen the Mighty Ducks. And you reminded me that I had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we had only seen it maybe like 3 years ago.
Right.
So that's like, doesn't even count as like seeing it. Because this was like, as we have covered many movies in this podcast, the Ragtag Sports Team movie. And I wrote down all the examples. And it's a trope. It's a common trope.
Or just a sports
that's always
movie.
successful.
Well,
No,
sports movies
Ragtag
always
team. It's got to be an underdog team,
It's
right?
always an but the sports movies are like always about underdogs.
True.
Have you ever seen a sports movie that's like the best team in the world goes against the worst?
No.
What's gonna happen?
Good point. And right. And what I love, like, we're not super sporty. You know, like, I like sports. I like going to games. I like drinking at games. But I would say, like, we're sporty, quote unquote. But I love sports movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate them.
You do?
They just stress me the fuck out. And like, so, okay. Mike crashed into the floor in case you heard that noise. Sweetie, come back to us. Are you back? Oh my God. Might have to take a short break while we figure this out. Be right back. And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry, guys. I really wanted some chocolate-covered pretzels. And that turned into the mic falling twice. Oops. But it was totally worth it. Those pretzels were good.
Yeah, but that's why we don't eat on the air. It just causes problems. So
I just saw them and I had to reach for them.
Nope.
Yeah, back to the Mighty Ducks.
Okay, so
All right.
yeah, I hate sports movies because, I thought I hated them because, sports, right? Where I'm like, I hate sports. And then I realized I really am just afraid to watch them because there's just so much emotional involvement and like upheaval that it's just, the game stresses me out. Like most of the time they always win, but sometimes they don't.
Yeah, so
it
remember
just
when I
makes
was watching
games-
which ones, because like for me that would be more realistic if the underdog didn't win. Do they win in the Little Giants? Yeah, right.
Duh.
Yeah, I feel like they mostly win. What other ones did I list here? Which seems unrealistic. And I feel like in this movie, like they went from like 0 to 10 skill wise very, very quickly. Maybe it's the amazing coaching of the one, the only Gordon Bombay.
Bombay.
Named after 2 gins, by the way.
True.
Isn't that crazy? I read that in the trivia. I'm like, dirty.
They did that on purpose?
He is supposed to be like have a little
He's an issue.
problem with the booze.
Yeah.
With the gin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was like a huge movie for us growing up, though. I think like the main sports movie, other than like Sandlot, this one, Little Giants came a little bit later. But like everybody watched this. Came out in 1992. So for me, I was like right around the age when like these kids are. They're supposed to be like 10, right?
Wow.
No, they like some of them look older than that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Well, they're all in the same class, which is weird.
Well, no, Fulton isn't though, right? He's like the one outlier older one.
Well, how is he allowed to participate? It's Pee Wee hockey.
I mean, it just seems loosey-goosey. Though, is it? Because I'll talk about this later. Redistricting for the hockey team? Is this the American South? Like, what the hell is up with that?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Who knows?
But yeah, great movie. I mean, you just can't go wrong with this film.
Sure.
Starring Emilio Estevez, or is it Andrew McCarthy?
It's Emilio Estevez because he's a terrible actor. And I just
Good call,
there's
good call.
so much about this where I just cringe every time he like says a line. He was fine in The Breakfast Club, but I feel like every character is that Breakfast Club character.
Yep.
Where you're like, have some underlining issues, but a great athlete. He's like, it's like every part he's ever played. But he's just not a great actor. I'll say it. I'll be the first to say it. Probably not the last.
Yeah. I know a lot of people like vied for that Coach Bombay role. And actually, initially, Charlie Sheen was offered to it. Not only passed on it, but like gave it to his brother. Interesting how they work in that Sheen Estevez family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can take or leave Emilio Estevez in this. Like, not my favorite. The kids are great. The kids, great little like well diversified, I would say, cast of kids. So you have a woman, a black kid, a Jewish kid.
She's a girl. You can say girl because like it's the age where that's allowed.
I just put a female symbol down, so I was confused. Asian? Is there an Asian kid? No, ooh, that might be the one.
No.
Miss. Okay. A geek / ginger, fat kid, weird kid with special talent.
Who's that?
Fulton.
Okay.
There's always like one kid who does something like crazy.
Yeah.
Like some crazy special skill. I'm missing anybody? Oh, like was that kid
Latino?
Latino?
Yeah.
Latino. Yeah, so like great diversity, as we've like talked about in the 90s, like as like it's such a push now to get everything like very diversified because that's like the world we live in. Great. But I feel like the 90s in some ways did like a really good job of it for kids movies.
Yeah, I agree. I'd agree. So
Wait, and they're just going back to people who are like also in this, like pretty much like no-namers, except for Joshua Jackson.
Jax.
Oh my God,
My crush.
adorable.
Love my
Oh my God,
life.
he's so cute in this. When he was like crying in the diner scene, I was like,
Forget it.
so, like watery eyes. He's like, ah.
Oh,
Oh
Charlie.
my God, his name's Charlie, which
Charlie,
is
you're
like such a
so
sweet
so
little
upset.
name. Oh my God, I love him.
My friend's baby's name is Charlie.
Oh, that's a great baby name. It's like old fashioned.
I just came from babysitting.
Oh my God, snuggling
Sorry.
Charlie. Yeah. So, and then like the kids are like have been in other movies in the 90s. So you have like the kid from The Sandlot's in it, the kid from Heavyweight. So they've been like tossed around the whole like ragtag circuit, let's say. And they're great. Like all their own personalities and like that's super. So total enjoyable watch. Really into it. I was cheering along. I was quacking. I was pumping my fist. Yeah, I didn't know if they were going to win, lose. Really got kind of dicey there, but they won. Spoiler.
It's fucking stressful.
They won. But let's synopsis.
Okay.
One hockey puck, one goal, one slap shot at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah, sweeties.
Quack.
We're the I wrote down a quote. This is like the only quote that I remember from the movie. We're the ones out there getting our butts kicked. Do you remember that? I don't know if that was like some like they use that for something else.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Random.
Radio
Rando.
station promo. Okay. The year is 1973. Gordon Bombay, a child of undisclosed age, is about to shoot a penalty shot in the final seconds of the Pee Wee championship game. He misses it, much to the chagrin of his terrorist / coach, Coach Riley, who was like, kid, if you don't make this shot, I'm going to kill your whole fucking family and your dog. Fucking make it. And he doesn't. And that really fucks him up.
There's no point in playing if you can't win.
That's the team's motto.
Worst thing to say to a child ever. You psycho serial killer bastard.
Yeah. So Gordon Bombay misses the shot, pretty much fucks him up. His dad dies shortly after. He's like real fucked up. So fucked up that he becomes a shitty douche lawyer and has a fondness for drinking while driving in a blizzard and fucking up his life. So the company finds out about his little drinking, driving problems, whatever, and is like, listen, you're going on a leave of absence, and P.S., you have to do 500 hours of community service. But you still get your salary, so no sweat.
Yeah. And, like, I have a problem with this, because it's like, hey, dude, like, you're a dick, and you clearly have a drinking problem. Perfect community service for you. Go teach Pee Wee hockey. Like, is that really a good idea? Let's, like, do the math.
No, it's a terrible idea. It's reckless endangerment all over again. Ugh, it's one of my biggest problems with this. But anyways, so they let him coach this team. He goes to check it out. It's District 5. There's a bunch of ragtag kids, like, in the center of the city.
Like Hunger Games, right? District 5.
District 5.
20 years later.
And he goes and meets them, drives this fucking limo on the ice, which seems very unsafe to me, but he grew up here, so he knows everything. And I'm like, do you have you're like testing the ice thickness out there?
That was the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I grew up here. I played hockey, like whatever. I know when the ice is thick enough. Really, Gordon? Did you look at the temperatures for the last 10 days to know if it's been freezing for the last 10 days? Did you go out there and measure the ice, Gordon? Like, how do you know? How heavy is your car, Gordon?
It's a limo that is now carrying like 12, 15 kids, so it's fucked up.
The ice would totally have broken.
Oh,
Hollywood.
it's so upsetting. Anyways, so he's like, I'm your new coach. And the kids are like, no, fuck, you suck. No way. You're like just a guy in a suit. Like, fuck. So this team's like they suck. They have like no equipment. They're wearing like phone books for padding. They're terrible. They don't know how to play. Gordon's kind of like, oh, fuck this shit. So the only way he thinks that they can win anything is if they cheat. So he tries to get them to cheat and like fall down a lot so that they'll get penalty shots. But then his conscience weighs on him, and his buddy Hans, who makes the ice skates, is like, you're better than that. Maybe, I don't know. And
Does he tell him? I don't know. No, I don't think like Hans gets like wind of it. Good old Hans Brinker makes the ice skates. Not his last name, by the way.
But he yells at him for yelling at the kids. Remember he like goes after that like second game and is like, blah, blah, blah.
Right. I mean, I just get the feeling that like Gordon Bombay was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like just wait this out. You know, these kids are obviously losers. There's nothing I can do. I'm gonna make them cheat. I'm trying the best I can here. And that was like his whole life attitude, right? Because he was like so scarred from his previous hockey experience. But then he's like in the town more, and like obviously what happens, you like get to know the kids. You get to get a feel for like who they all are and why they're all playing and stuff like that. So it's about making the kids feel better. He was always so self-centered, right? Like me. So he realizes, like, you know, like, I'm going to make it happen for these kids. Number one, we're going to get them some decent fucking equipment.
Yeah. So he goes to his boss. He's like, yo, boss man, I need $15,000. Hit it up. And he's like, okay. And the kids go to Hans's sporting goods store and buy everything. They get all new sticks, equipment, skates. They are christened the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks, the Ducks, because his boss's name is Duckworth. So that's why they got that. Kids are all pumped. He starts training them for reals, which by training for reals, I mean buying at least 250 eggs and bringing them on the ice and playing with them, which, by the way, who cleaned that shit up? I would like to know.
Yeah. I had a huge problem with it. As a relatively clean person, you know, I try to do my dishes most nights. It was giving me hives seeing like all those broken eggs on the ice. I'm like, who the hell cleaned that up? Did the Zamboni clean it up? Because that's like uses hot water. So then was there scrambled eggs on the ice?
Scrambled eggs on the ice.
That's a whole nother movie in itself. It's called Ice Skating Hockey Breakfast. Ice Skaters do Ice Skating Diner. Bony surprise.
Brunch only on Sundays. I don't know. Okay, good times. Anyway, so yeah, they train, they get better, they find out that they can make the playoffs. They just have to beat one team. So like, we can do this. So they do it. They make the playoffs. Great. Yay, everybody's happy. At some point, Hans is like, yo, P.S., they like did some redistricting. So you were a hawk back in the day, but like, if you still live there today, you'd be a duck. And he was like, what? So he goes, little research proj, and he's like, I wonder if anybody else that's a hawk, like, who should be a duck. Finds out, like, the star kid, Banks. What's his first name?
Edward, maybe? The kid when he, like, passes out later when he hits the net. The guy's like, Eddie? So maybe Edward.
Maybe. Okay. Tentatively calling him Eddie. Eddie Banks. He's a great player, and actually he should be a duck. So they try to get him to be a duck. It's real sad. I felt sad about it.
Yeah, it didn't seem fair. I mean, that's like, you know, like it's obviously his dad like knew what the deal was with that and made it so he was on the quote unquote better team. So it's not his fault. And like all his little like douchey friends were there. And like the Hawks are basically like Hitler Youth. I mean, they're like blonde, Aryan guys with these like cherry lips and like rosy cheeks. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, you Nazi bastards. And they basically are Nazis. Like, let's be real. And like, I love when in these sports movies where they always have like that opposing team. And like they always have like pristine uniforms. Mm-hmm. In this case, they do have like nice uniforms. But like the cherry on top is that everyone has these like crazy parkas that are like too big for them, first of all, and they're just like love wearing them, and then they like skate around when they're off the ice on rollerblades to be like, oh, and like torment and bully the other kids. Oh, it's like always such a weird trope, like the bad team.
God forbid my son ever be on the bad team of a sports team. Right. I'll disown him.
I want them to be on the bad team.
What?
No, the good team, like the underdog.
Oh, I meant like evil, the Nazis.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai.
Anyways, so he joins the team. He adapts well. He's a good sport about it. They become friends. Great. So they make it to the finals of the playoffs. Woo! Against the Hawks. Whoa. Big rivalry here. Gordon Bombay against his former coach, who is probably a terrorist, child abuser, whatever you want to call it.
He still has a bone to pick with Gordon. Like, how many years has it been, dude?
Oh, yeah. There's this great scene.
Get up.
This is my favorite scene is when Gordon Bombay like goes back to the rink and he's like, oh, look at all the championship flags. And it's like champion, 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 champion. And then there's like this giant yellow flag that's like second place. And his coach is like, man, I really wish they could take that down, don't you? And I'm like, suck it, buddy. What a fucker. But more on him later. Anyway, so it's versus them. The game starts. It's your typical sports underdog movie start here where the bad guys are winning a bunch in the beginning and you're like, oh, fuck, we're never going to win. The Mighty Ducks turn it around. There's some great scenes, and then all ends, it's tied, and then Charlie makes a breakaway, but he gets tripped or sticked, whatever. I don't know the lingo. Something bad happened.
I forgot.
Sweetie was drinking wine and forgot. And basically, Charlie gets a penalty. So he gets to take it, and Gordon's kind of like using Charlie to like redeem himself and save the team, kind of. And Charlie takes it. It's a great scene. It's like, shoo, whoo, choo, 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 choo. And then he shoots it, and he scores! And they win, and it's amazing. And that's a flick. Oh, and then Gordon, P.S. at the end, is like, oh, now I'm on the minor league hockey team, which is, you know, something you can do if you haven't played hockey for like 25 plus years, you know.
It just it's weird to me because like what you are shown in the movie is he takes like two very like ponderous skates around the old pond by himself doing some laps, and he's like feeling good. I'm going for the minors. Like,
And
that's all you see him skate.
It's so weird. Which, by the way, is skating like riding a bike? Like, do you just pick it up?
I think so.
Fine, whatever. Okay.
We don't know how to skate, so we have no idea. But I'm guessing like that's how skating works. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Please tell us. Anyways, yeah, good flick, paced well. It's interesting in that you get to see all of the games kind of played up to the playoffs. I feel like in most sports movies, you'd maybe get a montage in that scene, like League of Their Own. That there's like you don't really see those full games really in the middle. It's all just like dun, 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 music, sassy music, and then they make it. But I mean, it's a little tedious watching all those games. But I mean, each one brings something different, I guess. But overall, good, solid flick.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they show those too because they're like kind of building their skills as they go along. I mean, they're going to do the Hawks at the end, right? And so you like see all the other teams and like who are on those teams, and then they like are introducing all these new moves and stuff, right? So it's like they have all these strategies that they do, letting like certain people like be like the star of the show for this game or that. So he like really tries to be pretty like democratic in terms of like letting everybody play and kind of have their like moment to shine, right? So it shows like Gordon being the sweet coach that he is. Side plot. Did we talk about the side plot? Romance side plot. It's always gonna be a romance side plot, right? So sweet little Charlie, Pacey Witter, aka Joshua Jackson, has a single mom, and Gordon really like takes to Charlie because he also grew up like his dad died when he was young, so like he kind of like wants to be a father to this kid, and Charlie has in his head like he loves Coach Bombay. They had like a little bit of a headbutting in the beginning, but like really he like ends up really liking him and wants him to get together with his mom. So he like invites him over for dinner, and then he goes on a date with his mom. So that's like a whole side story. And by the end they're making out. So it worked. Charlie, matchmaker.
Until Gordon Bombay makes the fatal blunder of projecting himself into the fantasy ice house over the skating rink and really bursting the bubble on that. Okay, so the scene is they go on that date, right? Which is like on the rink, whatever. And then his mom's like nervous. She's like looking at the ice sculpture. She's talking too much. And then she's like, when I was little, I used to imagine I lived up there and blah, blah, blah. And then I made that Charlie's room, and now we have our own life together. And Gordon Bombay's like, wow, that sounds nice. Like, I'd like to live there too. Which one's my room? And she's like, what?
And like walks away. Like too soon, like creeper first date.
But it's way too soon. Like, don't say that shit. That's like the equivalent of a woman like saying to a guy like, I really want to get married like so bad. Like, it's just like, fuck, like no, like slow it down. And I get the feeling that she probably brought a lot of men into Charlie's lives and they didn't end well. So
okay, right. So, like, I mean, obviously, like, if you're a single mom, you can approach this however you want. But, like, I have a couple friends who are single moms, and, like, their go-to is, like, we do not introduce our dates to kids until we are, like, absolutely sure it's going to work out. And that's, like, kind of hard to do because you also want to make sure, like, they get along because that would be the ultimate deal breaker. If you, like, your relationship is too far along and then they finally meet the kid and they're like, oh my God, like you hate each other. So it's like, obviously it's like a very like tough thing. But that position is reversed because he met Charlie first. So it's like that was inescapable that he wasn't going to be able to meet Charlie. But like lady, whatever, Charlie's mom, I would not date Gordon Bombay. I'm sorry. He still has like way too many problems for me. And he's just like, I don't like him. I don't know. I don't like him.
He's a goober. I'm sick of him. Sick of Gordon Bombay.
Found in this movie, but maybe it's just because, like we said, like Emilio Estevez. I don't know, man. Like I'm not feeling you. You just right. Like I just see him as that like douche in the Breakfast Club, and I'm like and that fucking blue tank top, and I just want to die. When it was like the gymnastic moves,
and he's like, I taped that guy's butt together, and then I pulled the tape off, and all the hair came off, or like and some skin.
And again, he has like a character arc in that too, so he like gets like better, I guess. But I don't know, whatever Emilio. I just like Martin Sheen. He's awesome.
I know you love Martin Sheen. Jeb whatever for life. What's his name? His president's name?
Jed. It's Jed, first of all.
Sorry.
Bartlett. President Bartlett.
Pres Bartlett for life. Anyways, okay, so because we didn't see this a lot growing up, we do have at least some memories. So Sweetie and I both connected on the same exact memory for this movie. The only thing we remembered from this before we saw it was that scene where the figure skater does the cool, what's that called, Sweetie? Spin thing. But you like hold your, it's different. It's called the thing. Spin tuck? I don't know. What? Tuck and spin. Remember sit and spins? Vomit City. Okay. Where she does that move and then scores the goal. Like that's all we remembered. And it's probably because we were women and this was like a male dominated movie, but I do respect it for having two, not just one token bitch, but two token bitches on this team. And granted, this figure skating one has maybe 3 lines and she sucks, but the other girl is that actress that's in all those things.
Well, okay, so it's the actress in Wet Hot American Summer is what you know her for now.
And
Mad
Men.
Oh, shit. Wait.
The woman that Don Draper like slept with briefly, and then her son like walked in on them, or no, his daughter walked in on them.
No, that's the girl from Freaks and Geeks. Different. But this girl a woman has been in other things too. But what really threw me on this is that this actress. So she's like a pretty petite actress, I would say. Like, she doesn't look that tall. She is so tall in this because all the boys are so short. And it completely goes to like exactly how middle school is. Like, because girls, grow first and then boys like catch up. But it's hilarious. So she looks like a giant. She looks like 6 feet tall. And these like boys are like all like at her knees. And she just turns into, she's probably like 5'4". I don't know. Crazy.
She's great, but do you get the feeling that she's only on that team because of her little boyfriend, the little silent mute blonde kid
with the African hat? Yeah, that was weird. And I'm like, I don't like. Yeah, that's the only character. I'm like, every time I saw him, I'm like, wait, who's that guy? He's on the team. Who's that? Like, totally disappeared.
He doesn't really have redemption, right? He doesn't
do anything.
Yeah.
What is his name?
I don't know. Mute blonde kid. I don't know.
Cultural appropriation. That's what you can call him.
Yeah. So we both remember that, and then all right. So let's see. First thing I want to talk about is, I love the plays they have. So like also in the Little Giants, you get like their funny little plays where they used to kind of like bend the rules and like do things their way. So my favorite one of this is what I think they call it the Statue of Liberty play with Fulton. And so they purposely let Fulton shoot all these pucks in like during warm up so that the other team can see like how aggressively he shoots these fucking pucks in. Is shoots the right word, or is it like hits? It might be hits. He hits the pucks. Shoot that ball to the hoop.
Describe how they got to Fulton. We left that up.
Oh, we left that out. Sorry. We did the synopsis twice because we realized the microphone was fucked up again. So we redid that part. So Fulton is this kid who has a lot of power behind his shots. And there's this one time they see him and Gordon Bombay is like, "What's up with that kid?" And they're like, "Oh, he is a football scholarship, so like he's not allowed to play hockey." That's my explaining voice. I love it.
The explaining voice. That's amazing. I think that's mine too. Like he's a football scholarship, so he can't play.
And Gordon Bombay is like, "Oh, that's too bad." So then he's driving his van down the street one day and a puck hits the window and breaks it. He's like, "Stop the car." He chases the kid. It's Fulton. He's like, "Yo, kid, like do that again." And he does it again, hits another window just as hard. He's like, "Do you make it? Can you hit the goal at all?" And Fulton's like, 1 out of 5. So he's got all this power, but he doesn't really have the accuracy down. So they make him warm up in front of the players to like show that he's got this power. And so then at some point in the game, they're like, "All right, let's bring in Fulton." So he comes out and all the boys on the other team saw him shooting those goals and was like, "Oh," and like get all scared. And then they see him, he goes to like wind up his like giant slap shot and all the other team scatters. So it's a clear lane into the goal. But then it's like, psych, the girl like comes and takes the puck and then like takes it and then makes the goal. So it was a fake out, and I thought it was just a really smart play. I wrote good secret play.
Why is it called the Statue of Liberty though?
Fuck if I know. I think there's one of that in football too. I don't know.
Yeah, that was cool. Like, yeah, so I love all that stuff. And then like we said, the figure skating one, that one was really cool. I'm trying to think of like any others. Yep, the flying V. So the duck kind of thing. So that's really fun. Like that's really cool. And I loved all the training stuff. Like the training montage was really good. How they kind of like got to being a better team. Yeah, I thought those parts were done really well. Well, I'd like to start with, who can forget the old poop in the vintage purse trick? God, I miss those days.
It's such I was watching that part and I was like, oh my God, this is such a fucking Disney movie that they like make a dog, make this dog eat a can of chili and they follow it until it poops, collect it in a purse, put like, was it a $5 bill? Something shitty where you're like, not worth it. And this guy sees it and is like, ooh, purse with money. And he like looks around. He's like, I'm taking it. And he drives away. And then he gets like 2 more seconds down the road. And he's like, fuck. And like throws it out the window. And is like, ew. Like is poop ever going to not be funny? I don't know. I guess not.
It's not. It's always going to be funny. But I just feel like that was like so much work for the payoff. Because you don't even see the guy's reaction. He had driven away and just literally chucked the purse out the window. So it's like the payoff for me for like the multiple steps it took for the vintage purse poop trick is just not worth it. I'm sorry. But I was just like, and it was like kind of like I think it's funny the way they do it. Because first of all, it's supposed to be like, oh, these kids, you know, wrong side of the tracks. Look at them making these pranks. But you don't really know what they're doing. Because at first you just see the kid like rifling through the garbage to find a purse. Well, who knows? Like you would find a purse in a garbage bin. What kind of garbage bin is that?
I don't know. The only thing I think is like if the strap breaks in the middle of the night, you're like too drunk and you're like, ugh. But then you would still need to put all your shit somewhere. You like if your man has big enough pockets, maybe he can fit it in his. I don't know. But yeah, good point. That was funny. Yeah, pranks were like a big, as we talked about when we talked about Mr. Boogedy, like pranks had their heyday. I did my fair share of pranking. It was great. I don't know if you did any pranks, but like I did a lot.
Oh yeah. Wait, have I talked about that in this one? Where like I had this kid who lived down the street from us, and like he was my friend for like a week. Yeah. And we did like all these little pranks, and we had like big wheels. Is this what those are called? Remember we had the Cabbage Patch and the Big Bird one, and it was basically like a tricycle, but you had like one big wheel in the front. But it was a low seat, and then like the 2 little wheels in the back, and it made like the loudest fucking noise. So we would like bike with the. Were they called big wheels? I don't think that's right. It's called something else. Isn't a big wheel the remote like? No. We'll look this up and I'll post it. Anyway, so like he was randomly my friend for a week, and it was so fun because I'd never had a guy who was a friend, and it was like a guy who was a friend, but we were doing all these horrible bad things. So I was basically like a guy for a week, which was so fun. So he made me do all these pranks, and the one I remember is that he's like, "Go steal your sister's training bra." So I like stole my older sister's training bra, and we filled it with dirt, and then like threw it on the deck, and we're like, "Liz, come out here." And she's like, "What did you do to my bra?" It was pretty funny. And then he ghosted me.
Oh, I was gonna say, can I ask a personal question? Why did the relationship fizzle?
So he just didn't come around anymore. So it was like this weird week where every day, it must have been the summer, he would like ride by my house on his bike and be like, "Hey, Alex," and I'd go out and play with him all day. And then he just stopped coming. Like maybe his like real friends were away that week, and so he like needed another friend. So I got fucking ghosted. But like the hilarious thing is I saw him maybe like 10 years ago at a bar, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Emily, right?" He's like, "I'd recognize your face anywhere." And he didn't talk about this specific moment, but I like literally had not talked to them since the ghosting experience. When I was like 7 and I was now like 25.
Good story. Okay, so now I would like to talk about Joshua Jackson. So I had a lot of fake boyfriends growing up. I admit it. Okay, I was a slut. I had, started off innocently enough with Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark, Zach Morris, Will Smith, Tristan Cope, real person, weird, JC Chazé, and then Joshua Jackson. So once upon a time, Joshua Jackson was on a little show called Dawson's Creek. Looking back now, looking back now, not as cute as I thought he was at the time.
That was like his awkward stage, believe it or not. Because I don't know if you watched The Affair, but hello.
Yes. But anyways, I was obsessed with him, and he did this Got Milk ad. So remember in the 90s, all the celebrities did the Got Milk ad. So he did one where he's like sitting in a dinghy with like his cargo pants like rolled up. And it's like, you know, it says the spiel at the end. He's got the little milk mustache. Fucking adorable. So I took out like 10 of those from different YM magazines, taped them to my ceiling in a circle, and then put one in the middle. So, yes, that's it. Sweetie pulled it up on her phone. How accurate was that description? So I had 10 of these fucking gut milk ads, the same fucking gut milk ad on my ceiling. So I could just like look at it at night and be like, yes. He was my one and only, but we broke up because he was just like too jealous of my relationship with JC Chazé, because like JC and I were friends, but not lovers yet. And then we had a moment of indiscretion. But anyways, so Joshua Jackson, so hot, but so teeny in this. I always forget when I watch this how small and little he is in this, and not attractive. I don't think he gets like even a little bit attractive until like the second or third one. But the thing that is just too much for me is his hair.
Yeah, I in my notes I have it as tiny baby Pacey Witter in a Rachel from Friends shag cut, because this was early '90s. I had my hair cut like that eventually. Hilarious do. I mean, it was just like a little like, you know, boy doesn't cut his hair, like kind of a thing. But he's he's adorable in this, really sweet. And like, I think as you said, in D2, he gets like a little bit cuter and he starts to like round out a little bit. Yeah, he's adorable. And continues to be adorable. And he was just like, I don't know. And like Dawson's Creek, he was just, and also like the persona of the Pacey character in Dawson's Creek. I think Joshua Jackson is very cute. But I think that character was so good in that, and just how like funny he was and the way he like acted. I don't know. I need to date Deadnerize fucking, what's her name? Joey.
They ended up together?
Yes. Right?
I don't remember. Yeah, I remember being pissed about that. What about Andy? What happened to Andy? Remember? Good times. Remember when Jack was like, I'm gay? And that was a big moment.
Andy was like bipolar at like a nervous breakdown, remember? Yeah.
Good show. I should rewatch that. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. What do you want to talk about next?
That's so much. Hold on. I'm going to put the Pacey.
Hold on. She's putting the Pacey Witter milk ad on Instagram.
Okay,
so
she's putting Pacey Whittier and like.
Who's Pacey Whittier? We don't know. Anyways, so yeah, Joshua Jackson, and then we got, you know, Mighty Ducks, which, by the way, the Mighty Ducks in the current NHL were an expansion team, and they named it after this movie, which I didn't realize. I thought, yes, because Disney owned the Anaheim Ducks. So, I mean, like, but good for them for like not being like, let's name this team like the Genies or like Aladdin, Jasmine. Yeah.
Well, the Ducks are like not, I would say, like the greatest. It's great because it's named after this movie, but like I don't know if I'd want that as like my sports mascot. And when Gordon like decides, so like we said, he names it after Mr. Duckworth, who's the owner of the law firm, who gives him the money. But he tries to like really sell it to him. He's like, this is why ducks are awesome. And he like says these like stupid things that don't make any sense. Do you ever see animals fight with ducks? Because they're scared of them. Like ducks fly together. Like he's just like totally reaching. He's like, okay, like why are ducks cool? Why are ducks cool? They don't even have teeth. They don't need teeth because they never get into fights.
I mean, ducks are like wily as fuck. A sidebar, I saw a family feeding the ducks at this place I walk an entire box of cornflake cereal. And I was like, I don't know if that's right. And then I walk past them and I see a giant sign that's like, do not feed the ducks. And I'm like, ha! I told you.
Don't feed the birds, no boxes of cornflakes. That's wrong. Don't do it. Okay, here's a question for you. Yeah. Who is your favorite kid?
Other than Charlie?
Yes, Charlie doesn't count.
Okay. Okay, I have an answer for my least favorite kid, which is because it's like, the Johnny, the Meister, the Buddha. It was like they were trying to make him so funny and like ham persona from The Sandlot, and it just did not work at all. And also, I don't know, but that kid is also in Home Alone, is one of the brothers.
What?
Yeah. I thought originally he was in Sandlot 2, but it wasn't. It was a different guy. But I hate that kid so much. He's not funny at all.
Sandlot was a year later.
Sandlot was a year later, so they ripped it off. Okay, whatever. But okay, so my favorite kid. Oh, it's a tough one. I think it's the girl. I just like. Okay, so I have a problem with each of the boys. This is why I don't like them. The kid that was in the Sandlot, the pitcher. What's his name? I forget. He's just like a brat. He's just like really mean about it. Like he's so mean to Banks when he joins the team, and I'm just not into that. They make up at the end, but he's still like very rude. Maybe Fulton, because Fulton's like quiet.
What do I have here?
Fulton, fave kid. Yes. Yeah. So okay. So we agree. Okay. So it's Fulton.
Okay, Fulton
He's
is so
quiet.
sweet.
I love the quiet, but like so powerful guys that just come in and save the day.
So here's why I like Fulton. Okay, first of all, like he's an outsider at first, so you're like, who's that weird kid with like the scary trench coat? Like, and he's kind of a weird, busted, like smoosh face, and you're like, what's wrong with him? But he's really cool and like doesn't know how cool he is, right? Like, and he's like. Gordon's like, oh, like I heard, like, you know, like you have a football scholarship, so you can't play. And just like, don't believe everything you hear. Like, he's really cool. And he's like, I can't play because I can't skate, whatever. So they teach him how to skate. Anyway, so I love when like Gordon brings the Duck jerseys and like he gets all the new equipment for them. And he's like, well, we're going to be the Ducks. And the kids are like, Ducks are dumb, blah, blah, blah. And Gordon explains to them kind of what the deal is. And the kids are still like total like assholes about it. And Fulton's the first person to be like, I want to be a duck, and like comes up and grabs a shirt. Awesome. And then, sorry, one more thing. When like there's a stupid part where like Gordon is talking to one of the coaches. I forget like what the thing is about. Oh, when he like steals the Banks guy, maybe. Mm-hmm. And it's something about like he just says like, you think my kids are losers or something. He doesn't call his kids losers, or he doesn't do it like they hear what he says out of context, but all they hear is like him saying the team is a bunch of losers or something. And so then they take that back to the locker room, tell everybody, and they're like, Coach, whatever, thinks we're losers, blah, blah, blah. So then they all bail, and they have to forfeit the game. But before, like, the only people that come out to play are Charlie and Fulton. Right, best characters. Because the other kids are like little punks, and they just, like, want stuff that benefits them. They're not really into the team mentality. And I feel like Fulton and Charlie always were.
Also, whatever reason, Fulton is the best. After the figure skating like trick, a guy like purposely knocks her down or whatever, and he is pissed and like goes after him. So he's a gentleman. He's a chivalrous motherfucker. Yeah. I respect that. I respect Fulton. Yep, you're the best. There's Goldberg, sucks. He's annoying. He's another character that's supposed to be like comic relief. Oh, the fat kid that hates being the goalie. Such nuance.
Right. And now looking back at that, when you can see with basically every one of these sort of like movies where you have this sort of like underdog team, those characters are always like the least funny. Well, I don't know. What in the Little Giants one, I feel like that guy's like pretty funny, right?
And Ham.
Yeah. Well, I guess so case by case basis, but in this sense, it like did not work for me. He was just kind of like annoying, and then there's like fart jokes. I'm like, but maybe that's like for kids, and we're not kids anymore, so that's not for us.
Question for you. Let me set the scene for you. You're in a shopping mall. You're enjoying a lovely Saturday afternoon of shopping. You go to your Express. You go to your Gap. You get your clothes. You're excited. You got your bags of clothes. You're walking home. And then you hear something in the distance. Sounds like wheels. And an entire hockey team skates by on rollerblades, causing a fucking ruckus. And then one dipshit, who I love, but whatever, doesn't know how to skate, barrels into an old woman, sends her into the fountain. And you're shopping, and you're like, what do you do? Explain to me how you're feeling.
Okay, first of all, I have huge problems with malls now. There's like one mall in Boston, and it is the worst. It is still where like punk kids go to hang out without their parents, and like I avoid it like the plague. Malls below. Don't ever go there. I would be pissed. And that scene is crazy because for some reason, like Fulton gets separated from the rest and goes down a stairway on rollerblades and nothing happens to him. Suddenly he's like a stuntman. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But like he doesn't fall down. Like good for him, but it's terrifying. What the fuck? Whoa, whoa.
Would have called security on their ass in a second. They'd be like, listen, get down over here. This is not okay. I hate crazy hooligans. Like there's these kids that like ride their bikes around Assembly where we live, and they're just like so cool, and they're like swearing every other word because they think they're the shit. We're like, listen, you don't get your swearing card until you're like old and grumpy, okay? Get it right. But yeah, that scene really gave me like the hives. I was like, oh.
Okay, question for you. Okay, what do you think Gordon Bombay's dad died of? / why did they not mention why or what?
I think he died of a broken heart.
Okay. Wait, are you done? No. Okay. My theory was because they have that scene where he's like, Dad, like, I want to stay out and play more. And the dad, you can like see this look in the dad's eye. And I'm like, oh my God, did the dad like catch pneumonia because he was watching him play for too long? And so it was his fault. And that's why he like has this tremendous guilt. That was my theory.
No, well, that makes sense. But more so along the lines that like, I think that Gordon Bombay felt that he let his father down so badly that it like really crushed him, and he was already sick, and then he died. But I'm sure he probably said something like boring as fuck, like prostate cancer. It's like whatever. But that's funny. It's funny that you say that though, because I thought that too when I was watching that scene. I was like, is this the reason? Right. It's like
because he looks like he gives a look like, oh, I don't really want to stay out here. Like I'm ill.
Yeah, something's up there. It's like in Little Women where I'm like, do I want to babysit? Because in Little Women, Beth's like, let me hold this crying baby, and then she gets fucking scarlet fever and dies. So, you know, nothing is safe. I mean, like you could die any minute. But yeah, good question. Good question. I respect it. That's a good
question. Oh my God, baby Danny Tamborelli. Explain.
Okay, so they go to this rink and they're like, there's all these people skating, and all these people that are skating are pretty good, but they only zero in on 2. It's like a brother and sister combo. And they're like, who are they? And they're pretty good at skating. Let's ask them on the team. And one of them is Danny Tamborelli as maybe a 9-10-year-old baby. We can fit him in the palm of our hands, put him in our pocket, just keep him there for safekeeping, and then we'll just pull him out every now and then and be like, hello, baby Danny Tamborelli, you're so cute. Oh my God.
Explain who Danny Tamborelli is.
Oh, so Danny Tamborelli is Little Pete on Pete and Pete, and then went on to bigger fame on several Nickelodeon game shows. He was a constant panelist on Figure It Out. He got pretty fat. But so teeny in this. And he hasn't been in anything else we've done yet, right? I thought he was.
Oh my God, he's so adorable. He's this like sweet little voice, and like, oh my God, as soon as I saw him, it just like took me back. Because we were like huge fans of Pete and Pete back in the day. He's a little bit older than Pete and Pete, right? He's a little bit older than Pete and Pete. Yeah. So this is like the youngest we've ever seen him. And I was like, oh my God. And he's like, this isn't the only reason why I think he was like a success, but a big reason was like, he's like this sweet little chubby little redhead. And not even like a ginger, almost like darker than a ginger. His hair is like, he's just so cute.
He's like a figure. And it's funny because like his sister made him do figure skating, and she's like putting on the Ducks uniform, and she's like, Mom's not going to like this. And he's like, I did figure skating for you. You'll do hockey for me. It's funny. But also they can just like do it on it. They don't need their parent. Like, I don't know. It's again, loosey goosey. They're really in District 5? Like, let's see some papers. But yeah, Danny Tamborelli, really fucking cute. Probably one of his first roles. We didn't look it up, but I'm sure it was. But so sweet.
Yeah. Love it. I love the leather jacketed chauffeur who like always has a leather jacket, but then like the Ducks like jersey underneath, and is like always with Gordon like in the coach box like cheering along.
Yeah, he's like the assistant manager or team mascot. Unclear. Oh my God, it's so funny that he's like the chauffeur at first. Oh, I can say it now. Yeah. I couldn't say it last time.
I was almost like, Andre, say this word.
Chauffeur. So he starts off like driving the limo, you know, basic livery stuff.
He's so basic.
But then they get a team van, and this guy also drives that. So I don't know. It's just, again, I feel like they could have fleshed that character out a little more, because I really am like, do you have nothing else to do in your life that you're like dedicated to this team?
He's getting paid,
I guess. Then there's Hans, who like makes the skates, but also has that bomb ass sporting goods store. Right. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you ever like have a weird excitement / fascination with going to sporting goods stores and seeing like all the brand new sporting equipment, specifically the field hockey sticks. Mostly I'm thinking of Nauset Sports.
Well, not really, because I didn't play any of the sports. So like, no, I like to go to those and walk around and be like, wow, this stuff is expensive. I went to a skiing store like this summer and I was like, holy shit, skis are this expensive. Who skis? Who can afford to ski?
Just for some reason, I just like seeing brand like all these like, I don't know, field hockey sticks were cool because they had all different like, you know, things on them. Like I think I like idolized our older sister when I was little, and I think I wanted to be a field hockey player.
You did the camp, didn't you?
No.
The summer camp?
No. Field hockey, no. No, but I was a field hockey player for Halloween one year.
That's as far as it went. I dressed up.
By the time I got to high school where there was field hockey, I was like, I don't like you as much anymore.
You didn't play in middle school. You would have had to play in
Middle school? Oh. Well, middle school went to charter school. They didn't have a field hockey team, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I just like that. I like sporting goods. But great scene again. Hans. At first, I thought he was just like a lowly, like just sharpening skates guy. But then I was like, oh, he got a whole store. No big deal.
Yeah, but he's like really like a parent, because it's weird in this. Like, so they show Charlie's mom, who's like the redheaded lady, and then the black kid's dad, and that's it. Those are like the only parents who show up for every game. Like, where the hell are the other parents? That's like kind of weird. Tagline for this: "Ducks never say die," and I'm like, hold up. Did you rip that off from Goonies? Because I think you did. Goonies never say die. Ducks never say die. Ducks die all the time. They're hunted relentlessly.
So weird, because it doesn't really have like anything to do with the movie or anything that they like promote as the ducks.
I wrote that down. I was like,
It's a stupid tagline. I am against it. I'm against it. It's not okay.
ready to talk about it? Let's talk about the hats.
I mean, this seemed like your topic, so I'll let you take it.
Okay, so like I said, like, what dates this movie? Okay, so number one, you could say the soundtrack. So there's a couple great 90s songs. What I remember is when they're trying on the hockey equipment in the Hans' store, Good Vibrations play. Feel the vibrations. Come on, come on. Feel it, feel it. Feel the... It's such a good vibration. It's such a sweet, sexy time. I was like, oh my God. This is like so... I was like a little kid in the early 90s. But then all the boys wear these like ridiculous hats. Okay, so I wrote them down. One, plaid backwards cap. Charlie wears that at school, which is like, you can wear that at school? Shocking. You can wear a hat for public school. The like weird cultural appropriation, like shy guy, always wears this like weird African beaded cap. Don't know why, don't know how, don't know where he got a hold of that. Like, you're 10, what the fuck? And then the black kid wears a Jamaican like style hat all the time. The Latino kid wears like a bandana, maybe? He wears like something. And then Fulton wears like a funny hat too. There's just like a lot of hats. And I'm like, was the 90s a hat time? Like casual hat time?
Wait, did the Latino kid also have like a kilt on? Or no, it was like a plaid shirt like tied around his waist. And a leather jacket, like a skirt. So that kid is actually in one of the rare... No, but he's in one of the rare yet uncomfortable Full House episodes where something very serious happens and you're not allowed to laugh. And it's like really... It's like the Saved by the Bell where Jesse takes the pills and it's like funny, but you're not allowed to laugh. You know, they play it like... So that one is Stephanie like gets... paired with this kid for like a school assignment and he's a really big bully, he's really mean, but then she finds out that like his father beats him and she like can't, he's like, don't tell anyone, Steph, like don't do it, and she's like, you have to pinky swear you won't tell anyone. She's in a tough spot, right? So she tells Uncle Jesse and she's like, Uncle Jesse, I don't know what to do, like this kid told me his dad beats him, like what should I do?
They show him, he just has bruises. What does he just have bruises, or the shows the dad hitting him?
Nothing. It doesn't show any bruises or anything. He just like says that like he like there's this part where like Stephanie gets in trouble and Danny's like, all right, we're gonna have a talk after this, and the guy's like, oh, I hope he doesn't give it to you too bad, and like she's like, what are you talking about? Like my dad doesn't hit me. Does your dad hit you? And she's like, forget I said anything. But anyways, Uncle Jesse calls child services and then gets this kid taken away. And then Charles, his name is Charles, gets taken out of his class. And Stephanie's like, Uncle Jesse, I told you not to tell anyone. And he's like, listen, and it's like all serious. He's like, oh, we have to. It was like, it's bullshit because I want to laugh during Full House and I don't appreciate these like serious episodes. I like understand it, but like, listen, downer. Anyways, that's the episode. So that's what that kid will forever remind me of.
That's really sad. Yeah, that seems really heavy-handed for that show, but wow. Anyway, hats. Who wants to talk about hats?
The 90s was just a very hatty culture. Like, everyone had hats. Clueless, like, they always had a weird hat.
That's what I'm saying. And I miss hats whenever I see, like, 40s movies where, like, you wouldn't go outside without a hat. I'm like, man, I miss those days. But, like, they came back in the 90s, but in this, like, weird way because they were, like, horrible hats.
They were impractical hats that didn't do anything. Yes. It's like one thing if you're like, I'm cold and put on this hat. If you're like, I'm going to wear this flower pot, that's a hat. Not so cool. It didn't work out for me. But, yeah, good point pointing out the hats. Good.
So as we spoke about before, the reason that they're able to take that one guy, Eddie Banks, onto their team is because there's this like redistricting of the teams. So like we said, like Hans like shows Gordon this map and was like, so these are the new districts and look how they redistrict this one. So basically like all the affluent kids and rich kids could be on one team. What the hell? Is that how hockey teams work? Is that how they make pee-wee hockey teams?
That's how like all sports teams work. It's like a lot of the football, like Friday Night Lights, there was a whole like side plot about that too, because they can just like draw those lines. And did you notice in the map that District 5 is like a peanut compared to all the other districts? And you're like, what the fuck? But I mean, yeah, that's how they do it. And it's like, there's like in Friday Night Lights, there's a scene where like somebody had like bought like an empty house and like said that their address was this like empty lot, and then coach like figured it out and was like, you don't really live here, like you should be on our team. And it was like a big to-do, it was like crazy, and everybody gets up in arms over it, but apparently it's real.
It should be totally random. Like they should just be like, okay, like we're all assign you random numbers and then put them all together and this is a team. I mean, that gets crazy. And like I mentioned a little bit before, like we're now having problems with voting like that. So basically they gerrymander, if you will, these areas where they will draw it so it'll be like heavily Republican, so they know like all those people will vote Republican, so like it'll always be a Republican representing that district. And like, oh my god, it's bullshit. And like it works in sports like that too. I can't believe it. My whole life is shot. Yeah, that's bullshit. Pretty sick apartment for Charlie's mom for being a waitress at the diner. Yo, where do they live? And it's not like she's getting alimony because it sounds like he was like a deadbeat dad they like ran away from.
You think she's turning tricks on the side?
Something like that. Like, here's a cherry pie / meet me in the back for a little quickie.
She could work 2 jobs. We could just like not see her at her other job. I don't know. I mean, but whatever. It was her ice castle dream, whatever. She wanted it, so she got it. I'm happy for her.
I mean, that was an amazing apartment. Like, you cannot agree. That was huge. Yeah. And she has one income, and she's working as a waitress in a diner. And, like, she's working the day shift. So, like, what tips are you making on lunch? Never worked lunch as a waitress. No one drinks. Like, you need the booze. You need the tips. Anyways, that was interesting. I love that part where, like, so they go to the hockey game, the professional hockey game. I don't know, like, who those guys. Stars. Yeah, the Stars or whatever. And so he's like, oh, hey, guy. Oh, Gordon, right? Like, I used to play you in Pee-wee, whatever. The guy has, like, the thickest Canadian accent you've ever heard. And he's like, yeah, I used to play with these guys in Pee-wee. He's like, hey? Like, wait, what do Canadians say all the time? Not A. It's when, a boot. A boot, yeah. Oh, I knew this. Like, it's just like, watch that part again. Like, he's the thickest Canadian accent. I was like, there is no way you played Pee-wee hockey with Gordon Bombay.
My other annoyance with that, and this happened a few times and throughout the movie, but like when somebody like sees the back of someone's head and is like, Gordon? And okay, first of all, I saw the clip at the beginning. Emilio Estevez looks nothing like that fucking kid. Why do you know that is Gordon Bombay? Like, if you saw somebody that you knew when you were like 10 years old, would you recognize them today? Probably not.
Well, that guy who I did the big wheels with, recognized me. So there you go.
Salt, and you don't recognize them. But that always bothered me. I'm like, come on, he looks nothing. How would you know? Also, another small complaint about this movie is that they show that like that scene at the beginning several times throughout this, where it's like, we get it, we saw it at the beginning, we get the gist. It's not that complicated. Gordon fucked it up, whatever.
And about that coach, I wanted to talk about him. So like we said, like total psychopath. Also, like, stop coaching, dude. Like, how many years have you been coaching there and like literally destroying young men? And no one is like aware of this and like how horrible. And there's this one scene, like, again, total Cobra Kai moment where he's like, I want this guy taken out. Like, take him out. Like, are you kidding? You are an adult in a leadership position.
And
like,
little giants too.
Yes. I mean, psychos, like literal psychos. It's a travesty. And it's like, yeah, so it's weird because he basically looks the same in the Gordon Bombay scenes when he's like little Gordon Bombay, and then Gordon Bombay's now 30. So, wait, we think he was 10? Yeah, 15 years. Wait, that would be 35. 20 years. Okay, let's say it was minimum 20 years. So, like, how old is that guy, first of all? Also, like, get a real job or retire because you're horrible. I mean, I know you, like, win all the time, but, like, you're horrible. And like, what really pains me about this is the actor, also known as Lane Smith, I believe his name is. He's in My Cousin Vinny as like the defense prosecutor. He's great in that. But I know him, if you ever watched this show, as the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman. He is Perry White, and he's adorable in that, and he's such a great character. And he plays like smarmy bad guys all over different movies. And I'm like, no. You're Perry White. Why did you do this to me? But yeah, he's a little smart little Hawks jacket. Like it's like a leather jacket. I mean, it's just black.
Yeah, he pops his collar like,
Yeah.
Oh, what? He sucks. I can't believe like the thing he tells Charlie at the beginning is like, remember, son, right before he's about to make this like maybe winning penalty goal. Like, remember, son, you're not only letting me down, you're letting the team down if you lose. Gordon, yeah. And it's like, fuck you. That is like the worst. And their slogan is never always win or whatever. What is it? What is it? What is that? It's not worth playing if you can't win, which is like the opposite of what they tell all children's teams. So it's like very dodgy.
And there was no parents who were like, like this sounds a little fishy, and I feel like you're like really leading my impressionable child down a dark path. But like, I mean, that's always like a thing, right? Everyone wants their kid to be like a winner. So there are those crazy parents who are like, oh my God, win at all costs, like da da da. Because they were winners, and then that's why these like dudes get. I mean, I'm just gonna say men, just because this is hockey, but I guess it could translate to women, but maybe not as much. That's why a lot of young men have these complexes because they're like dads or whatever, were like such winners, and they can't hold up to that. When really it's about doing your best. Like if you've done your best, then that is okay. Like you don't have to win in every game. You don't have to be a superstar. If your dad was an all-star quarterback, like. Randomly, we watched Varsity Blues during Thanksgiving break. That was on like VH1 or something.
I don't want your life.
Oh my God, we watched it with Carol. It was so awkward. Mom's like, "What's this?"
I was taking a shower
Yeah.
for the whipped cream scene. I don't want your life.
But same thing. So like it was like this football town, and his dad was like a really like good football player, and he was really good too. But he like there's just a better quarterback, and it was just like, oh God, I mean. I love sports movies, but like, what is happening there? Like, you're creating horrible people. Let's be real here. You're creating horrible people. I'm gonna stop talking.
It's true, but I still think you should watch Friday Night Lights. I think you'd like it.
I'm interested in that now that you're talking about it. Yeah, I've heard only good things from people. Literally, everyone who I've ever met has said like that's an amazing thing. And if you like sports, like shows, not necessarily like sports.
No, I'd say if you like sports movies, you would like the show, which you do. So I agree.
Wait,
Anyways,
is Michael B. Jordan in that?
yeah, but not until later seasons, and I stopped watching it like before he started, so I need to pick it up again, but now I'm all confused. I don't know if I will, but I really liked the first couple seasons. I thought they were really great.
True Detective season 2, everyone was in it.
Yeah. Who's like always in bomb movies and just like, oh, he didn't make it. Poor Riggins. Anyways, yeah. Anything else you want to add here?
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to go over quickly like the other ragtag sports motif movies that we have already done and see if you agree with this, right? And then not even have to be sports, but like ragtag group of youths. All right, Little Giants, check. So that's our football one. Sandlot, check. That's our baseball one. Mighty Ducks, check. That is our hockey one. So all we're missing is a basketball ragtag movie. Air Bud?
Maybe? Teen Wolf?
Oh, good one. I don't know. I mean, I've again seen that maybe like once. And then with the ragtag group, I would also rope into that the Goonies ragtag group. Troop Beverly Hills on the lady side. Hey ho. And then the Karate Kid, just one kid, but ragtag. Underdog. So we've done like quite a few, and that's karate, that's Girl Scouts, that's pirate adventures. So
No soccer, though.
right.
Have to do ladybugs.
Ladybugs.
Good one. All right. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. Cool. All right. Well, we hope we did you proud, Mighty Ducks fans. If we didn't, or if we did, and you want to tell us, come find us at the Sweetie Club on Twitter or on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us. Thank you.
And a couple of administrative announcements. So today, you guys, is December 5th, and is Large Marge's birthday. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Large Marge.
You crazy son of a bitch.
Happy birthday to you.
And many more ghost lives.
Awesome. She's amazing. Love that bitch. Number 2, put a shout out onto Instagram, and Sweetie will do it for Twitter account too. Send us your favorite Christmas movies. We're going to cover a couple, maybe 3 or 4. So we're taking suggestions because we kind of maxed out on our Christmas favorites last season. So send us your ones. We got a good amount now, and we just want more, and then we're going to maybe pick them randomly. So send us your Christmas ideas and your favorite ones that you watched at Christmas as a little kid, either on Twitter, or you can DM the Large Marge Send Us Instagram account. And last but not least, we have reached over 200 followers on our Instagram account. Woo! Our 200th follower was the Blonde Red Rum Podcast. So shout out to you guys. Amazing podcast. It's a true crime podcast. The episodes look amazing. I browsed through those today. I saw the one about the smiley face killer, which I am super interested about, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned on this podcast because there is some Boston familiarity with that, and I have my own theories. Blonde Red Rum. We'll talk about it later. So check out their podcast, and thank you for being our next and our 200th super fan. So keep liking us, guys. Keep listening. You're the best.
We love you. Bye.